Welcome back to Expediting Change. I appreciate all the love I've been getting on the podcast. For me, Expediting Change in this podcast was really art for me. It was just me putting information out in the air, and the overwhelming response that I got was completely love. I sincerely appreciate it, and I'm going to continue doing it because we want equity now. We don't want equity in 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We are on the road for the positive progression of the culture through Expediting Change. So again, a reminder, every single one of my guests, we're going to chop it up and have conversations about what they're doing. And at the end of it, I'm going to put them on the hot seat to talk about what are they doing now to expedite change. So pull up, sit down, whether you're watching it on YouTube, whether you're watching it on your phone, whether you're at work and you shouldn't be watching it, I'm okay with that as well. We about to get it popping. Let's go. So today, I'm excited. I have a guest here with me. I have a queen here with me. I have one half of the power couple here with me. I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. It almost came out because I'd be getting ahead of myself, but I pulled back and I'm going to allow this queen to introduce herself.
So hey everyone, I'm Stephanie Mingo. I am Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Mingo Imports LLC and co-owner of Acquired Taste Cognac.
So COO, love. So Miss COO of Mingo Imports. Talk to me about that. What's Mingo Imports?
All right, so Mingo Imports is just that, an import company, and what my husband and I formed. The importance of it, I'll say that to him, he conveyed to me, was that he wanted to own what he created. You know, everything he created, he wanted to own it. He was already importing. And then, so we formed Mingo Imports LLC, and then under that, we have a portfolio of products. We don't have to stick to just one product. You know, so our cognac Acquired Taste, you know, it's out there, it's moving, but we have the ability to import whatever we want, whatever. And then, you know, we work with the regulatory authorities to do that, but we have a lot of freedom under Mingo Imports.
So you're already dropping jewels in the first 30 seconds of the podcast. So what you're saying is you started your own company, whether LLC, corporation, however you did it, but you have your own company. That's Mingo Imports, that's your, I imagine, holding company. So then you can have separate companies where you can sell your own products, so then you can have exclusive ownership and rights to your products.
That sounds so good. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. And so creating the cognac, my husband, he one day was drinking a cognac, right? And he just wasn't really feeling it. He also was seeing during this time, it was a couple years ago, a lot of ambassadors for these large brands. And it's like, you know, they're buying our influence, you know, they're buying the following, but it's not that good. It's crap. We can research and see what's in these products, right? So it's all these added this and added that. It's not really aged the way it's supposed to be because now it's like an assembly line. So anyway, that's where the want for cognac came. Like, you know, this is being marketed to our people. Let's bring on something that's better.
Absolutely.
You know, more to the core of what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And that's how Acquired Taste came about.
From Black ownership. So I'm a market and advertise as a Black owner a cognac that we like to drink anyway. And now for the positive progression of the culture, come rock with me on my cognac. So Acquired Taste specifically, though, I've had it, so I'm biased. I like it. I love it. You know that. But how did you get to the name Acquired Taste and the logo? Multifaceted question. And what brought you specifically to a cognac? Because we probably going to get into it that you have others as well. So why Acquired Taste? And then why the cognac first as far as a full suite and portfolio of products from Mingo Imports?
Well, okay, yes. So the name Acquired Taste, you know, my husband wanted something that meant, you know, it had a meaning behind it. So it's to gain, to possess a greater taste, a greater level of want for things, a greater a possession of greater things. And it's just an evolution of your personal taste, whether it's in food, you know, music, you know how that is. I love my 90s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? That's my taste. You know, so it's just a quality thing, you know, so Acquired Taste kind of stands out to me as quality. And then the logo, wow, so my husband came up with the name. He designed the bottle, so he wanted the AT to abbreviate the name in the wreath with the stars. now get this, there is a star tier in cognac. He did not know this. So when he designed the label for the XO, he put the 5 stars. It actually really is 5 stars. The VS really 3 stars.
We came out the gate saying we 5 stars right away. It's in the logo, baby.
Yeah, so he just had this crazy intuition for the brand, the look, the clean. He wanted, he wanted it to be clean, but for it to look, you catch your eye. You see it on the shelf. So it's 24 karat gold. That part is important because it really shines at you. It's important to have our clear bottle. I mean, look at the cognac. You can see it. You can see through it. And it was important to have a profile that didn't include the additives, so like the sugar, the caramel coloring, the things that would really cause those hangovers or backaches or inflammation, or I'm not going to market that, but a lot of the reviews we get, it's not, a lot of people don't get hangovers.
Not having those unnecessary additives. So how'd you down select though? How did you get, because I know a lot about you and the husband and what you guys do. So how did you pick though acquired taste and cognac first out of everything that y'all could have done?
Wow. So I'll tell you our actual course. We were sampling vodkas. So we were looking for producers who could, we could import vodka from. My husband did research, and a lot of it was like Russian, so I was speaking to someone from Russia. And then I started speaking to someone from France. So I had 2 distillers that I was speaking with, and then we just happened to go with the distiller from Cognac, France, right? So we're importing vodka, like French wheat vodka, and it was really good. We're sampling it, we're playing around with flavors, and then my husband, he became gluten intolerant, right? So here we are making French wheat vodka, and you're like, oh, well, no, we have to pivot from this because I want to be able to enjoy it, and really push it meaningfully, personally. So like, okay, it only makes sense to try his cognac out. He's from Cognac, France, and that's how it came about.
That's dope. So it's funny because people are like, folks are an overnight success. You're like, I'm an overnight success over the last 6 years. You know what I'm saying? I was looking on social media. I don't remember who was on there, but the post was something along the lines of, if you're not ready to dedicate 5 years of your life and half of your current funds and half of your savings to something, then you shouldn't even do it. But in the days and age of social media, everything is instant. We can start this business, we can make money right now, we can just get bread and we can be good. I know that that's not the case. You know that that's not the case. But talk to me about the grind. Like, how long have y'all been doing this? I know y'all not an overnight success. Y'all killing it, but tell me about that story.
Wow, that's an amazing point. And, we're not out here selling our soul. We're selling spirits.
No doubt.
So, I understand that 5 year, giving half of yourself. So when I'm going to go into investing in yourself and into your business, because that's really true. You're going to invest a lot of your time, and you may still work your 9 to 5 full time. And so what is important to build your personal credit up, number one, use your funds from your job, to fund your business. So for example, when we needed licensing, right, we wanted to start where we live in New York. So New York is like one of the toughest places to get licensed, right? Number one, we're importers. I don't know any other, well, I do know one other importer here, but not of their own brand. So we had to navigate by trying to ask the regulatory authorities. We were getting a runaround. We finally found our answers. Okay, boom. So we get our license. Then based on the application now you need an office space before you can even get your license. So boom. And all of this requires funds. And what do you do? You invest in yourself. So you get the lease popping. Say, hey, I want to do this lease for 3 years. Lock me in at this lease price. And our office actually had an area where we could have our cognac boxes. We've expanded now, but just starting out, get what you need. If you have to work overtime at your job, do that. Build your credit. That's really important because that, it kind of translates over to business.
Absolutely.
There's this gentleman, he's at our warehouse, right? He owns it. And, I know he's doing his thing, right? He's remodeling the whole warehouse, right? And, I'm asking him, well, what do you do with your employees? What do you do about insurance and all of this stuff? And he's like, how do you bide your time? He still works full time. And he's been doing it for years.
Absolutely.
He has partners, but he continues to work and invest in himself.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a natural part of having to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. That grind, that everyday grind. So how long, how many years y'all been in the game?
So we really started thinking about our brand and sampling products and getting our federal permits and all of that stuff back in 2013. But, life happens. I was in the hospital. Lupus flare came in 2004. Chemo, dialysis, you name it. So, once I got back, I went into remission like 2015, right? So that's when we started, okay, now I'm back working full time. The doctor said I could go back to work. And then that's when we really started investing, finding answers. There's like import companies, right? And they're like, oh, we'll import for you, but you'll have to pay
that fee.
So that's when it really started, though. We started looking was in 2013.
Good. That's 10 years in the game. And then that's a part of your story, that struggle. You know what I mean? Nothing good comes without a struggle. I respect that. And pay attention. She said two things. One is your credit. Listen, man, if you buying everything in cash, you're not building your credit. Now, if you want to ask my personal opinion, and this is my podcast, I do fundamentally believe that this credit thing is a scam. However, we got to play by the rules that are here. And if they judging us based off of credit, then we got to make sure that we play this game and make sure that our credit is tight. That don't mean have 30, 40 different credit cards. They don't pay me, so I'm not going to say their name. But it's one charge card. It's not a credit card. It's not a debit card. It's a charge card that is amazing for your credit. The next thing that she talked about is investing. Make sure that you invest, and that investment don't necessarily have to come from the money that you got in the bank. Moonlight. Use that 9 to 5 that you're currently working at to build. When you go to the club, you spending $200, $300, $400, $500, sometimes $1,500 on bottles anyway. Cut that in half. Take that money from that 9 to 5 and then go in and start building your business. What I would ask with that, though, Steph, is if I'm struggling, if I'm out here, and I'm not necessarily whomever the audience is going to start my own acquired taste or start my own import company, but what advice would you give me if I want to start my own company, my own LLC, my own product, whatever it might be? Because you've been through this grind for 10 years. What advice do you have for me?
First, I would like to say, I think it's good to be in a partnership. Like, I'm in a partnership with my husband. He is creative. You know how you Geminis are. I'm an earth sign. I'm analytic. Yeah. I just love that process. So we have our parts of the business, and it just runs, right? Yeah. It's so smooth. It's not required. It's not necessary, but it always helps. But block out noise. If someone, doesn't believe in what you're saying or, what your business is, you don't have to tell everybody what you're trying to do. Just go after it, right? That's one of the things that I would say. I think it's important. But have your idea, know what it is that you want to do so that then you can research and execute. Research. The information is out there. If it is like a regulatory agency involved, please call them. They're there to help us. They're not, the IRS is not, our enemy. Get an accountant. Call an accountant in your area, right? Your small business, it's so cost effective. Like, absolutely. It's not, you would think that these things cost, it really doesn't cost a lot to really get those things in place for your business, You don't, an attorney is good. You don't really need them right off the bat. Just give it a little bit. But get your LLC, get your bank account, get a Uline account, because Uline will help you build your company business credit and get a Dun and Brad number.
For my folks who don't know what Uline is, what's Uline?
Oh, gosh. Uline is like a, what do I want to call them? It's like a large supplier of anything you need. So, like, we get boxes from there, shippers from there. You can get tape from there. You can get, anything you need for, like, packing, shipping, which is important to us. That's what we get from there.
So, partners in the business. So, everybody don't necessarily have to be a plug. They don't necessarily have to be inside of the business. But two things or two folks that I never leave home without, as Steph just said, is my CPA and my attorney, period. We're going to sign these non-disclosure agreements. My attorney is going to tell me if I don't look good in stripes, I don't look good in orange. So between my CPA and my attorney, they're going to make sure that we're doing everything right from a regulatory perspective. So make sure you listen to that. So what Steph said was, as you moving and you building your funds and you saving your money, reach out to a local CPA. if you don't have a whole lot of bread, tell that CPA, hey, listen, I'm on the come up and try and work out a deal with them. It's a lot of individuals in the town. It's a lot of individuals wherever you at that are willing to work with small businesses, small business association, and offer discounts. But all it takes is one missed receipt. As she said, the IRS, they can be your friend. They can be okay. We can't duck them. But that CPA and that attorney is going to keep you out of trouble. So tell me, Steph, what's one of the things that keep you up at night? What troubles you? What do you say, ooh, I got to make sure this gets done because this worries me?
Oh, I'm thinking about it. I'm really like a results-driven person.
I like it.
So, like, you know, if something, it's usually always someone on the other side, to be honest, though.
No doubt.
But if there's a hiccup somewhere, it's not going through communication. Oh, wait, yeah, let's get into that. The distributors.
No doubt. Let's talk about it.
The distributors. Oh, my. It's like, who works there? So that's what grinds my gears. You know, so now we have all these magnificent numbers and sales and revenue. Okay, I'm trying to talk to Southern Glade. You know, I'm trying to talk to RNDC.
Yep.
I mean, you can email your heart out, and it's just like, what is going on? Where everybody at? You know, so I don't know what it is. I don't like not being responded to.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, my husband calls me like a email thug.
I love it. I love it. I got my goatee for it, so you know I'm good with the thug part of it. So, what do you do? How do you calm yourself from that, though? Because it can be annoying. I mean, when we were coming out in business, we said we're going to get 2,000 no's, but all it takes is that one yes. So the opposite side of that question of what worries you at night, what keeps you going? What fuels you? Why do you keep going even though those folks aren't responding to you?
Wow, I think it's our ultimate goal, really does, because I see ourselves growing here or there, or like, so for example, we picked like the top cognac consumption states, and
Strategy.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need these accounts because I'm trying to get to the next level. So I know in order to get there, I have to manage you, and you. You know, so like, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, I think the process is going to drive me because I'm trying to get to that point. Point B, point A.
So what does next level mean? What does that look like for Mingo Imports? What is next level?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so right now what we're working on is just really hogging down in our states and getting certain things and processes in place. So like for Maryland, you know, getting our reps there.
Yep.
We're going to be with Total Wine soon, so I'm going to need an ambassador out there to do the tastings and go around to the restaurants and the stores. And so we're really going to be focusing on exposure in Florida and in California and really spreading that, because those are some huge states.
Absolutely.
You know, so we have our goals set for this year.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it all goes, but I know it's going to go well.
I think I might know somebody in Maryland. Maybe somebody, Shamari. I might know somebody in Maryland that y'all could talk to, that kid, when you come out to Maryland. That, you know what I mean? This dude named Shamari James, he might be interested in helping. You know what I mean? He might be interested in helping out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Talk to me about that expansion, because cognac is only cognac if it's coming from Paris, France, right? So as you're doing this strategy, this national movement, you mentioned Florida, you mentioned Maryland, is it also on the table from an import perspective coming from France into the States to go to like Canada, Mexico, the UK? Like what you got any plans on that?
I love how you said that. It's funny because we're forming relationships, like, so for Delaware North, they have a lot in the UK. So it's navigating those, because guess what? We're first gen. We don't have anyone who we can really ask. So now we're building these amazing relationships to where, okay, when we're ready to ramp up in Europe, it's going to be no problem. So yeah, absolutely. You know, we can import straight from France, Cognac France, to the distributors here, or to the stores or whatever here, and yeah, that's definitely on the cards.
We thank you for that. We talked a lot about the cognac, but the Acquired Taste brand has a few others. So tell the folks what else you got.
All right, so outside of Acquired Taste Cognac, VSOP, and our award-winning XO, we have Cotton Vines. So it's a botanical gin. And so I'm really excited to launch that out. I think we have our taste profile down, the labeling all registered and down, and so it'll just be bringing it on to our distributors and getting it out throughout the region. And
again, I'm biased because I tasted the gin, and it's amazing. So what do you want to do with the gin, as far as, are you following the same footsteps as you're doing with the cognac? because I don't think people understand, and I do because we've had these conversations. When you talk about the SKUs, like you mentioned, acquired taste, VSOP, XO, et cetera, like that's a lot of work, right? Like the SKUs is a very big deal. So talk about that a little bit, because now when you have all the cognac, acquired taste cognac SKUs, and now the acquired taste gin SKUs, how does that work? Talk to me, explain that to them.
That's an amazing question. So hitting the market, I just want to start from the cognac, right?
Yeah.
We started with XO, and the distributor said, this is amazing because it really, you're serious. You know, you're serious. Product is on the market, is getting all this love, so it's going to be easy to bring those other ones in, because now they trust your brand, they trust your quality, right? So then building those relationships with your distributor, all you have to say is, hey, I'm ready to bring this product on. They'll say, okay, we'll take 20 cases. One of the other things is it's really important to work with your distributors. They have like different in-house programs with their sales reps to make sure that your products are getting presented to the stores. So just that relationship with the distributors, because that's how it's going to get out for us. You know, that's our direct customer. They trust you. You build that trust and that relationship, and you know your product is good. You communicate. You know, you're just all through professional. They'll take on your other SKUs.
What's the hardest roadblock though for the distributors, because they don't? It's so many different. Literally the other day we had Taco Tuesday, and I'm not a big tequila. I'm not a big light fan anyway, except for gin. I do like gin. And it's literally 5 or 6 different Black-owned tequilas, like The Rock, Kevin Hart, LeBron James got one. So we literally bought like 5 or 6 of them just to do a taste testing. So like, how do you break into that with the distributors, and they have so many different ones that they can select from?
That's a great question. So with cognac, you know, and I do see a lot of people going into the tequila space. There's not too many coming into the cognac space though. But what I will say is what you have to do, and again, that goes back to building that relationship, having a plan. So if the distributor is not telling you, hey, we already have a cognac, you know, it's a conflict, we can't take you. If they're open to you, it's important to work with them to have a plan. So one of the important things to us is to incentivize the reps. You know, so hey, this is your incentive for going out, presenting our product to the retailers, stores, the rest. You know, this is your incentive. Go ahead and do it. And a lot of times they will. So as long as you're working with your distributor and you're getting those dates for the tastings at the stores, you're running coupons. I mean, all of those things. You know, any case deals. So sometimes you can do multi-case deals to the stores or whatever. And if they see that you're working it and they're selling it,
it's all about them KPIs, it's all about them numbers, all about moving that product, move that product. So I want to shift gears slightly to something that you touched upon earlier, which I think is absolutely beautiful. As you know, we have a nonprofit, we have a charter school, and we fundamentally believe in seeing. Once people see stuff, it's possible, right? And the news. We already know how the news go when they start talking about our folks, right? However, regardless of all of those negative connotations that might be in the air, you are a Black husband and wife, beautiful couple in business. Like, I get goosebumps when I say that, man, because Black love nowadays, from the married perspective, is under attack, bruh. It is literally under attack. So shifting that narrative and keeping it a stack and talking about the individuals who are married in business together, live together, because you know, I know, because my wife is a CEO of my charter school. We go out together. We go to work together. We sometimes drive in together. We go to dinner together. We go to parties together. And it's a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can be tough. So I just want to, A, applaud you for that, but B, I also want to ask and just have you touch upon it a little more, because you talked about your husband and you said, hey, you know, you Geminis and I'm an earth sign, but just talk about it. When you said it, I think about it from a yin yang perspective and understanding that we have to have our own swim lanes, but also come together and set boundaries at home and having conversations. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, communication is important, but I also think his strengths, I appreciate them so much because it's not mine.
No doubt.
But it is mine, you know what I mean? Because he's mine, so it's like,
doubt.
The same for him.
No doubt.
And I think, you know, we allow, like, I don't know, we just really click together, especially working together. And I think it has become a part of our love language, but we were in love way before. I mean, we've been together for 16 years.
No doubt. Congrats.
So, you know, I mean, we go through, oh my gosh, even talking about the health thing,
Mm-hmm.
he was just there for me. He's like my rock. He's my
No
safe
doubt.
space. If I have an idea, if he has an idea, I think we really support each other. We appreciate each other. We hear each other.
Yep.
I just think it's really important to communicate.
Absolutely.
I know, like you said, doing everything together.
Yeah.
We do everything together, and he is high maintenance. He's gluten free. I gotta cook gluten free. I gotta learn
fire
recipes.
shots at my man. He not here. Hold up.
you know how y'all are. So, but I get a kick out of it. Y'all have that edge, be talking junk. I think it's funny.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate him. I think we appreciate each other.
That's
so
dope.
much, yeah.
It's so much love. What advice would you give to a couple who is interested in pairing up and going into business together? Like, what would you say, like your top 3 things? I've heard communication a lot from you so far, but what else besides communication, if a coupleship was looking to move into business together, like what would be your top 3 pieces of advice that you would give to them?
Yeah, know the mission. Know the mission for both of you, and then you'll be able to choose what you're going to run in the company. I also think that you should communicate, of course. Work together towards a common goal. I think that's really important. Yeah, I think that's important. Also, lighten each other's load. So if someone is feeling a little bit, have a heavier plate than the other, take a little bit off of there. Maybe give some space. Because, some of the things can be frustrating. Or, just talk.
Yeah.
If I am frustrated at something, I can tell Cash, and he's like, what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Who you want me to
How you want me to help?
Yeah, so help each other, really.
Yeah.
And know your goal. Have that clear vision.
Yeah.
Convey the why.
Ooh, I like it. Say more about that.
Oh, my gosh. So, like I said, Kat, now I never had this knack for business, right? I'm analytical. I code for a living, medical coder. So, when Cash is just so creative, right? Gemini again, y'all got this vision. Y'all always thinking of something, coming up with something. So when he tells me and I can sense the passion, I'm like, hey, I'm down.
Yeah.
Because I know that he can bring it to life.
Yeah.
So do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely. I got to underscore that. I got to look in the camera and say the strategy of it, knowing your why and the mission, wrapped around communication. And that communication is about making sure you're speaking in the language that an individual can hear. Steph said it became their love language, right? That's fire. Because oftentimes we can talk past one another. So if you're in those coupleships, make sure that your why, which is okay to change, because it may change every 3 to 5 years, but make sure that you're communicating so that why, each of you know those whys, and that becomes a part of your love language. That's absolutely dope. But now it's time for the hot seat. And the hot seat equals my question about what are you doing to expedite change? This podcast is all about getting the information out, which we got a lot of good nuggets from you. But now I want to put you on the spot to make sure we talk about what are you doing right now for the positive progression of the culture to make sure that those that look like us, are being educated from a financial education perspective, understanding and knowing about business, giveaways, donations, things of that nature, whatever it looks like for you, your husband, the business, Mingo Imports, Acquired Taste, etc. How are you taking care of the culture? How y'all doing y'all part?
Wow. So visibility is important to us. I don't, there's a lot of brands. I don't know who's behind it. You just know the name. So things like this, speaking, write-ups, it's just so important so that people who look like me know, hey, here's a space that you actually can get into. We are a part of some programs who are also helping to drive that for people of color who are in the spirit space. I think mentorship is important, of course. My husband is always mentoring and supporting other Black businesses, of course, and what it is that they're doing or collaborating. Donation is big. Sponsorship is huge. Giving back, I think it's just a part of what we do, period, anyway. Education, of course, and then just brand-wise, education on what is in our product, and then offering promotions. If I'm going to market to you, I'm going to give you a coupon here and there.
No doubt.
I'm going to come to the tastings and, and tell you about my product, introduce myself. And the stores love it. The stores love it. So,
So Acquired Taste and Mingo Imports is the people's champion. The people's champion.
I mean, we love our customers.
Absolutely.
Like the reviews. That's just, it warms my heart.
No
it
doubt.
really does. So that's the part that I most, just getting out there, being in front of even if it's expos, you know, where it's more like the retailers. I love that too. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fire. So listen, I appreciate you for coming on my podcast today. This was an absolute wonderful conversation. You know, I have an extreme amount of love for you and your husband, for Mingo Imports, for Acquired Taste, for the cognac. For those of you who don't know, I did my 45th birthday party, and it was exclusive to Acquired Taste. We are extremely big on taking care of those who look like you and I, as well as it's the town, man. It's Buffalo, so it almost don't even matter. If you look like me, you from the town, you black and brown, hit me up. Hit me up, get on the podcast. How can I help? So I want to give a round of applause to this queen, who her and her husband are doing some amazing work with Mingo Imports. Thank you for your time today. And next time we're going to get Cash on here. We're going to get both y'all on here, and then we're going to let him do his thing. But I'm going to tell him you fired the Gemini shot, though, but that's okay. I respect and appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank you
you, Queen.
me.
Absolutely. So we had Steph on today for an amazing conversation. I want to know a family, a couple, a business owner, a person, or whatever, in almost every line, every industry possible that look like you and I, so therefore I can promote them. I don't know any other spirit and importer that looks like me at all except for Steph and Cash. So for me, this absolutely warms my heart to be able to bring her on to the Expediting Change podcast, because this is a brand new topic. I feel that I know just a little bit about a lot of topics that makes me dangerous. But if I walk into the room and start talking about importing and acquired taste and alcohol, I'm out of my league. So this is absolutely beautiful for me to be able to bring this to you, so that now you can take a look at it. And as I said at the top of this, we talked about individuals being able to see something. Now you can make it happen as well. So you just watch my podcast and you listen to this queen drop nuggets about making sure that you know coming into this that you are succinct with communication and your vision, regardless of what business that you're going into. But if you're interested in importing, you're interested in doing your own vodka, gin, or cognac, now you know, watching this podcast, you have a resource that you can hit up. This has been Expediting Change. I appreciate you following me. Make sure you on all of my social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Expediting Change. We'll see you at the next episode.
As I open my mind and try to reach yours, ask myself, why is it you really want to preach, boy? I want to teach more.